All right, so day one of your quadratic review for the test on Friday. Solve by factoring. All right, there is no GCF, so I start with my box. X squared goes in the top left, positive 36 goes in the bottom right, and we multiply. Okay, so I need my factors of 36. 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. Okay, I have to add to get to a negative 12. My signs are the same, and I have to add to get to a negative 12. So that's going to be negative 6 and negative 6, x. Now we work our way out of the box. The only way to get x squared is x times x. Then x times a negative 6 gives us that negative 6x, and x times a negative 6 gives us that negative 6x. Then negative 6 times negative 6 gives us the positive 36. So we take our two factors. X minus 6 times x minus 6. Get down, Shadow. Come here, pup. And it equals 0. Set each factor equal to 0. X equals 6 and x equals 6. Double root. That's one of those situations where it touches the line, touches the x-axis at 6. Something kind of like that. Although we haven't talked about that yet. Now, okay, so here, no GCF. So I go to my box. 6x squared, positive 2. We multiply, we get 12x squared. The signs are the same. We have to add to get to a positive 7. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. I'm going to use positive 3x and positive 4x. That gives me 7x. Now, right here, we know the x and the x gives us our x squared. The question is, do I use 1 and 6 or do I use 3 and 4? If I put a 6 right here, I can't multiply by something. Well, I can, but not real easily and get 3. If I put my 6 here, same thing. It would be really hard to end up multiplying 6 times something to get 4, so that's out. But if I put my 3 here and my 2 here, 3 times a positive 1 gives me that positive 3x, and 2x times a positive 2 gives me that positive 4x. So I have 2x plus 1 times 3x plus 2 equals 0. Okay, set each factor equal to 0. Okay, subtract 1. 2x equals negative 1, so x is negative 1/2. That's 1. Minus 2. 3x equals negative 2, so x equals negative 2/3. There are my two solutions. Okay, let's look at this one. It's not set equal to 0, so we have to do that. So that means minus 16 on both sides. So we now have 3x squared plus 2x minus 16 equals 0. Okay, now we take this and we go to the box. There's no GCF. So we've got 3x squared and we have negative 16. Okay, I believe that is 48. Whoops. Times 3. Yes. Okay, so we've got negative 48x squared. All right, so look at our factors. 1 and 48, 2 and 24, 3 and 16, 4 and 12, 6 and 8, and I think that's it. Okay, now I've got to subtract because my signs are different. and get to a positive 2. So I need a difference of 2. That's going to be these two. Okay? It's going to be a positive 2, so that's a positive 8x and a negative 6x. Okay, x and x. Now, 3 and 1. If I put my 3 here, it's not going to multiply by something to give me 8 easily. But if I put it here, 3x times a negative 2 gives me that negative 6x. Okay, so then I've got 1x times a positive 8 gives me that positive 8x, negative 2, positive 8 gives me negative 16. So I now have 3x plus 8 and x minus 2 equals 0. Set each one equal to 0. So x is 2, and then 3x equals negative 8, so x is negative 8 over 3. So there are my two answers. Okay, not set equal to 0, so we need to do so. So we're going to add 18x. So I'm working with x squared plus 18x plus 32 equals 0. This is what we go to the box with. X squared plus 32, 32x squared. All right, 1 and 32, 2 and 16, 3, 4, and 8. I have to add, and my signs are the same, to get to a positive 18. So plus 2x and plus 16x. All right, x squared is just x and x. X times a positive 2 gives me 2x, and x times a positive 16 gives me 16x. And then 2 times 16 is 32. So x plus 2 times x plus 16 is 0. X plus 2 equals 0. X plus 16 equals 0. You had to set each factor equal to 0. X equals negative 2 and x equals negative 16. Okay, so there's that one. Turn the page over. And it says solve by factoring. Well, this one is a special case. There's no middle term. We talked about a perfect square minus a perfect square means you open up your two parentheses. We're still equal to 0. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 4 is 2. So we fill in, and then you put a plus and a minus. Okay? Then we set each one equal to 0. 5x plus 2 equals 0. 5x minus 2 equals 0. Subtract 2, so we got 5x equals negative 2, so x is negative 2/5. Add 2, so we have 5x equals positive 2, so x is positive 2/5. Okay. No GCF, so we go to our box. I don't know why my boxes are getting so wide. Multiply, we get 16x squared. 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. We have to add to get to a negative 8. So the signs are the same, and it's a negative 8, so that's negative 4x and negative 4x. Okay, x squared is x and x, minus 4 and minus 4. So that equals 0. X minus 4 equals 0. Got a double root. Okay. Solve by the square root method. So in other words, get x squared by itself and take the square root. All right, so we've got a 5 with the x squared. We have to divide by 5. So x squared equals I want to say 24. 120 divided by 5. Yep. X squared is 24. Now we take the square root. Okay, so we're going to have to do a little bit of work. Square root of 24. So that's 4 and 6, and 6 goes to 2 and 3, and 4 goes to 2 and 2. Perfect square. So a 2 gets to come out. These don't have a buddy, so they stay in. 2 square root of 6, plus or minus. Okay, we need to move the 180 over. So 1 plus 180. 6x squared equals 180. Divide by 6, which I believe is 30, not cubed, squared. So we take the square root. So x equals plus or minus. All right, we've got 15 and 2 and 5 and 3. Well, none of these make a pair, so it just stays square root of 30. Okay. All right, 2x squared equals negative 60. So we divide by 2. X squared equals negative 30. Hopefully this throws up a huge red flag, because if you can't take the square root of a negative number, at least not at this point for you all. So no real solution. Okay, it's going to give you an error message in the calculator. All right, here. So we subtract 90. 3x squared equals negative 85. You can really stop right here. You could divide by 3 if you wanted to, but there's not going to be a real solution on this one either. Okay, so that's that. Now, you solve using the quadratic formula, and it goes, hey, what is the quadratic formula? I've asked you to memorize that. Okay, it was assigned on Monday as homework. X equals negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, before you can pull your a, b, and c, you have to have it set equal to 0. That's why I put that little reminder right there. So a is 1, b is 3, and c is negative 5. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root, 3 squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. All right, I always said write down the simple stuff first. Negative 3 plus or minus 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, so 9 minus 4 times 1 times negative 5. 9 minus 4 times 1 times negative 5. It's square root of 10. 10 only goes to 5 and 2. It's not going to simplify. So your two answers, negative 3 plus the square root of 10 over 2, and x equals negative 3 minus the square root of 10 over 2. Okay. Not set equal to 0, so we need to do that. Minus 10 and minus 10. And we need to put this one in order. We've got negative 5x squared plus 12x minus 10 equals 0. Remember, not only does it have to be set equal to 0, it has to be x squared, x, and then the constant. X squared, x, and then the constant to pull your a, b, and c. So a is negative 5, b is 12, and c is negative 10. So x equals negative b, so negative 12 plus or minus the square root of 12 squared minus 4 times negative 5 times negative 10, all over 2a, 2 times negative 5. Okay, x equals negative 12 plus or minus, and it's over negative 10. Okay, 12 squared is 144. Minus 4 times negative 5 times negative 10. So we've got negative 56. Okay. Double check that. Negative 12 squared minus 4 times negative 5 times negative 10. Okay, negative 56. Square root of negative 56. This right here, we don't go any further. No real solutions. Okay. Now, number 14. 3, 25, and 8, no GCF. It's equal to 0. We got x squared, x, and constant. All right, so A is 3, B is 25, C is 8. X equals negative B plus or minus the square root B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2A. So X equals negative 25 plus or minus over 6. Okay, 25 squared, I believe, is 2, no, it's 625 minus 4 times 3 times 8. B squared minus 4AC. Okay, so that's 529. Okay, don't know that number real well, so second square root, second answer, it automatically drops the 529 in. Ooh, it's a nice, neat number. So this really goes to 23. Now, I can get my two answers. Negative 25 plus 23 over 6, and x equals negative 25 minus 23 over 6. Okay, so that's negative 2 over 6, so x is negative 1/3. And then we have negative 48 over 6, so that's negative 8. There are two answers. Okay, I'm going to move this right here. Okay, no GCF, x squared, x, and constant, and it's set equal to 0. Okay, so A is 2, B is 7, C is 3. X equals negative B plus or minus square root B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2A. All right. Negative 7 plus or minus 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so 7 squared minus 4 times 2 times 3. 25. We like that. That's 5. So now we get our two answers. x equals negative 7 plus 5 over 4, and x equals negative 7 minus 5 over 4. Okay, so x equals negative 7 and 5, that's 2, negative 2 over 4, so that's negative 1/2. Negative 7 and negative 5, that's a negative 12 over 4, so x equals negative 3. Okay, so that is the end of the first day of review.